Hello my fellow chairs and welcome back to EU4. Today we are going to be continuing our mission tree only series where we play as a nation, complete their entire mission tree without expanding outside of that mission tree. Basically making that country look like how Paradox intended it to look. Today's nation is the nation of Poland, arguably the strongest nation in EU4, just based off of their ideas alone, but then you add in the fact that they get personal union Lithuania, Hungary, and Bohemia, and there's also an alternative path in their mission tree to go ahead and become the emperor of the HRE. Yeah, they're probably the strongest nation in all of EU4. As I mentioned earlier, these Polish ideas are fantastic. They're honestly on par with Prussia. I've seen an argument for both sides saying that, no, Prussia has the best military ideas, and I've seen plenty of very convincing arguments that Poland has the best military ideas in the entire game. And of course, when you actually form the Commonwealth, you get a little bit different ideas now. They did change that in a previous update relatively recently. Now these Polish ideas, early on, they're just kind of okay. You get cavalry cost, max promote culture. Once you finish their ideas, you get tolerant to heretics. But then you get production efficiency, stab costs, and the monthly war exhaustion is very nice, very underrated. The national manpower modifier plus 25%, plus infantry combat ability, 30% cavalry combat ability, plus you get wing and hussars, which are a very powerful, unique unit to both Poland and Lithuania. Regiment cost, discipline, and 15% morale of armies. On top of that, we also start out with Mazovia as our subject, and there's a good chance that we could get Moldavia as a subject for free. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it as Poland. So something that we have to address immediately at the start of the game without unpausing it, November 11th, 1444, we don't have a king. And that's because our king actually died in a crusade in Varna over here. So yeah, we got interregnum instead, 000. But an event's going to fire very soon where we could either choose a local noble who has very good stats, or we could go ahead and choose to basically just personal union Lithuania, and we actually get their king as our king. We also get a unique government known as the Great Sejm, or Sejm, national unrest. We get parliament, less absolutism, less reform progress growth, and it makes our nobility very influential. And of course, the thing that we are all here for, the Polish mission tree is very extensive and pretty much covers actually a lot of just war, personal unions, and actually a good amount of just developing your lands. So overall, a very well-balanced mission tree. Probably the most important mission that we're going to have to deal with at the start here is this Varna Aftermath one. In our case, Hungary rivaled us, so when we actually complete this mission, we can get a Restoration of Union CB on Hungary. In our campaign here as well, Bohemia is actually very friendly towards us, so there's actually a chance we could just peacefully put them under a PU. We also need to have 90% of our force summit, 2 allies, and we need to have a king. Some of these other missions, like this one, we just need to basically make our nobility happy. This one we actually have to build a bunch of marketplaces and make our burghers happy. And for a deal with the Piast, we just have to integrate Mazovia and make Warsaw our capital. That's right, Krakow is currently our capital in 1444. Other missions include like the Renaissance over here, developing Krakow and upgrading our Cloth Hall Wonder over here. This one here is about getting Moldavia as a subject. And here is expanding into Wallachia. This mission, once we actually have 5 privileges given to our nobility, or have 50% of our manpower, or have our national focus set to military, we actually get a claim on East and West Prussia. And this one here is all about the Danzig Confederation spawning out of the Teutons. But enough about all of our early on missions here. Instead, right now we're going to focus on our states. We're going to go ahead and hand out the cheaper advisors to all of our states. We're also going to do enforce unity of faith because we actually have quite a bit of Orthodox land in our provinces. And of course, poor Lithuania is just completely Orthodox despite being a Catholic nation. We're also going to do religious diplomats, even though everybody already likes us. Still going to do it. clerical education, and that's about it for our clergy. As for our nobility here, we're going to go with aristocratic and the officer right. As for our burghers, we're going to do patronage of the arts, cheaper advisors indebted to them, and also the bookkeeping and financial demand privilege. As for rivals, we're just going to rival the nations that rivaled us, so Denmark, Hungary, Teuton. And as for Bohemia, we're going to ally these guys. I'm also not going to Royal Marry or ally Lithuania because we don't need to. We're just going to get them for free. And pretty much what we're going to be doing right at the start is once our diplomat is able to, we're just going to be carrying favors with our boy Bohemia for like ever. Pretty much he's just going to be there for a very, very long time. Also, what I'm going to be doing right now is we're just going to chill. We're going to get our manpower up. We're going to wait until 1449 when our truce with Hungary is actually over. And by then we should have this mission completed because all we need to do is just have a king and we get a restoration of union on them. And here's that event that I was talking about. Pretty much you have two options here. You could either go down the whole let's just take Lithuania and we become the second greatest power in the entire world kind of path. And this allows us to get a PU CB over Hungary after we complete that first mission, or we could go with this, which I mean, that damn near perfect rulers are looking extremely enticing, but we're not going to go with this. I mean, this does give us a PUCB over Bohemia, but I'm planning on just taking Lithuania and doing it this way. Alternatively, you could go down the Bohemia path, and that whole mission tree basically guides you towards being the emperor of the HRE as Poland, and instead of getting a PU over Lithuania, it guides you towards conquering Lithuania. So instead, we're just going to go with this one here. And this just basically lets us know now we have an elected monarchy with the same mechanics, essentially. It's just now really the only difference is people can now make a bid to basically be our heir, which works in our favor because now we can personal union a bunch of other nations. Alright, I can complete two different missions here. I can complete the Raise the Noble Host one. This gives us even more manpower and gives us those permanent claims over here on Prussia. And the other one I could complete is the Varna Aftermath, which we will hold off on until our truce with these guys is over. Alright, so this event right here is just completely RNG. Pretty much Moldavia is going through a civil war crisis right now about who's actually going to be the ruler over them. And I'm just going to give them manpower. I'm going to hope for the best, and hopefully they go under me. Hungary gets the same event, and they could potentially get Moldavia. And thank God. Alright, so we got Moldavia. And we're going to get a follow-up event. So there are March as of right now. We could actually complete another mission with these guys. Romans Rebellion. And I'm going to turn them into a regular vassal. Because I don't really use marches too much. And now we have a new rival slot. We're just going to go ahead and rival Muscovy. We're going to immediately plunge ourselves into a war against Wallachia over here. And we're going to go ahead and vassalize them as well. I'm not going to do any of the work. This is just going to be my subjects doing everything. I'm just going to chill up here, make money, and get my strength ready for when we invade Hungary. So in most games as Poland, if I knew I was going to go ahead and make a play for the Hungarian throne, I would probably vassalize somebody like Herzegovina or whoever's allied to Wallachia here, maybe even Bosnia or Ragusa. But in the case of mission tree only, we can't do that. We can't just expand outside of our mission tree, especially if we don't have the claims on this area just yet. So instead, we're just going to take whatever claims we have and just simply vassalize Wallachia. And nobody's going to really care because nobody's an Orthodox nation over here. So yeah, we're going to get 45 AE. Nobody cares about Wallachia. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and vassalize these guys. And in order to complete the Crush the Wallachians mission over here, this province right here already has a fort. It has to be improved at least 3 times, and it has to have like no devastation, which really is not that hard of a mission. And it's actually from there we get a bunch of permanent claims over here in Bulgaria, and also on the Greek areas against the Ottomans. Also, don't forget to take strong duchies. This is kind of important since you got a lot of subjects, such as Mazovia, and if you get Moldavia, even better. Plus, you're going to get Lithuania. You're able to take strong duchies with at least these two. Alright, our truce with the Hungarians is over. So now I'm going to go ahead and complete the Varna Aftermath mission, which does give me that whole PU Restoration and Union CB on the Hungarians, and we will immediately press our claim. I'm also allied to Bohemia and Saxony, so we actually outnumber these guys. And while I'm at it, since I'm at war with Austria, I'm going to see if I can't release out maybe like Styria. We'll see. Styria is a big chunk of Austria, but if I could eliminate them, I have like no contenders for Central Europe in terms of like any threat at all. And I mean, this is already looking like a war that's just going to be a steamroll because we're occupying everything over here, and Austria and Hungary are devoting their entire armies. Oh, and I can't forget about Albania, who's in here as well with freaking God King General Skanderbeg. Yeah, they're devoting everything over here. So I could actually get Austria out of this war already. I won't be able to release out Styria nor Tyrol, but I could give a province back to Sicily. Also end their alliance to England because that's just annoying. And we'll also do the same thing. Oh, I guess now Munich. Right, let's maybe not give them that province back to Sicily. We'll just do something like that with them. We're already stealing Hungary away from the Austrians, so I mean that's already like a huge just power vacuum just taken away from them. It's taken away literally their entire strength right here. And since I'm ahead in admin tech right now, I'm in admin tech 4. I did dev up this province and it has no devastation, so we can complete this mission. So now this is where it gets really overpowered for Wallachia. The castle that's here gets destroyed, but they get a bastion. A bastion is like it's the next level fort, so it's already like a level 4 fort, which I don't think you get until like level 14 or so. So that in itself is very disgusting. Plus we get all of our permanent claims over here, which of course I'm going to be taking some. We're going to take a couple provinces from the Ottomans and probably release Bulgaria out of them. Alright, and I can go ahead and PU Hungary along with Croatia. They're included in this as well. In terms of AE, yeah, it's just going to be Hungary, Bosnia, Austria, Serbia, pretty much the Catholic nations that border me. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, PU Hungary. We're going to take some of their money here. And don't forget, we're also getting Croatia on our PU here. And only countries that would really care would be Hungary, Bosnia, Austria, and Serbia. And one of those is going to be my subject. And also, don't worry about that Liberty Desire, because your ruler that you get was 18 at the start. So yeah, he's very, very young. Which, I mean, for me, means he's probably going to die in the next 5 to 10 years, because my rulers always die by the time they're 30. So, yeah, they should give you plenty of time to improve relations with Hungary, who is, of course, very upset. But I could also complete Protect Hungary, which does make them lose some of their Liberty Desire, and also Brand Castle, which is right here, actually gets upgraded a little bit here. And I'm not going to do this Throne of Bohemia one just yet because I need to have 100 trust with these guys, and their opinion needs to be really high with me, and then there's a chance that they could actually just go under a PU with me, and that's exactly what I'm waiting for. Plus, this also gives me a perfect opportunity and chance to just chill, because guess what? Teutons are probably going to be dying very soon. And we ended up just inheriting Croatia, even better. So now we just got Hungary to deal with. And as you guys could see, pretty much our entire mission tree has a bunch of these locked missions. These don't get unlocked until we actually form the Commonwealth, which, as long as Lithuania is under 40 or less than 60 cities, and we have admin tech 10 plus 1 stability, and we own like this stuff over here, and Mazovia doesn't exist, we can just form the Commonwealth, and we just immediately inherit Lithuania. I mean, sure, Bohemia, whatever it takes to get favors so I can get more trust with you, buddy. So this is interesting. I never noticed this, but I guess these two subjects just got inherited to each other and became Silesia. I mean, that's pretty cool. An incorporated vassal, Bohemia. Okay. I haven't messed around with those mechanics just yet, but I mean, cool. For our tier 2 government reform, because our nobility actually does have quite a lot of influence, just because of the way things are structured as Poland, I'm actually going to go with curtail noble privileges here to lower their influence just a little bit. First idea group time, we're going to go ahead and pick up aristocratic ideas. They blend so well with the Polish ideas, and we're just going to be stacking up for high cavalry combat ability. So aristocratic's going to be our first one, then probably followed by espionage ideas. Alternatively, quality and offensive ideas are very well. So for our very first idea group, we're going to go ahead and pick up aristocratic ideas. We're going to go for stacking cavalry combat ability anywhere that we possibly can. Plus the additional dev cost and national manpower is very nice. Extra diplomat, nothing's wrong with that. Also the monthly autonomy change and yearly absolutism, along with cost to fabricate claims and unjustified demands, leader siege, and also the yearly army tradition decay is very nice. So we have this event right here. Pretty much our nobilities are making some demands here. We're not going to accept them. We're going to deal with these rebels because I do not like this modifier at all. Plus 5 tech costs? Yeah, no, we're not doing that. I see the Ottomans have no manpower. They're also at war with the Venetians. And also their ally Tunis would not join. So yeah, we're going to deal with these Ottomans like early on just to be done with them. You know, if we could just get rid of the Ottomans as early as possible, that's the best thing that we could possibly do. So yeah, we'll attack for Tulku, which is on the border here. It's always a beautiful sight to watch the Ottomans fall, just because you have so many guys that just outnumber them. And here's the whole Prussian Confederation thing. Yeah, we kind of have to side with them. So guess what? We're about to be plunged into a war against the Teutons, while we're also fighting the Ottomans. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because the Ottomans only have less than 20,000 guys anyways. I don't think they're going to be a problem. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mamluks decide to invade them with their 18,000 guys. So I thought this war was actually going to be a lot worse than it actually is, but I guess the Teutons got abandoned by all their allies, or they just were not able to call their allies in. And yeah, Danzig's about to just full annex them. Perfect. Okay, so Danzig won their war. I'm amazed that they just did not just full annex the Teutons. But we could complete another mission, the Prussian Confederation, which actually makes Danzig into our subject. We could either make them in the Ducal Prussia for the next 20 years. They get additional army professionalism. And actually we get a core on West Prussia. Or they could just be a subject. I kind of like this. Let's do this. And now we also have permanent claims on the Livonian Order and Riga. Which, I mean, if I attack them, I could kill off the Teutons and be done with them. Alright, and I'm sure you guys are wondering how my war against the Ottomans is going. Well, we pretty much 100% of these guys, to the point where the Mamluks with no manpower decide to attack the Ottomans. And you know what's so bad? With the Ottomans having no troops, that Samshke over here, with their 4K guys, decide, you know what? I'm going to attack the Ottomans. Yeah, let's see what we can get out of this war. To be honest with you, pretty much everything I want, other than Constantinople, so we'll go ahead and do this. And as I mentioned earlier, as long as my subjects are pretty loyal, which, I mean, the vassals somewhat, we'll go ahead and release out Bulgaria. Of course, I'm going to give Bulgaria a couple more provinces over here, like this, because I don't feel like pouring it. Alright, I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and integrate our subject of Mazovia. We can actually move our capital to Warsaw, and we can start making our diplo relations, you know, balance out here. Okay, so this is completely RNG here. So I got my trust up with Bohemia up to 100, my relations with them at 190, and now we're going to go ahead and try and complete the Throne of Bohemia. And like I said, this is completely RNG. Either they're just going to offer us the throne, they're going to go under a PU with us, or they're just going to be like, nah, bruh, we're not going to have Bohemia as a subject. Which, I mean, obviously having Bohemia would be amazing. I would love it. But at the same time, we don't necessarily need them. So fingers crossed we actually get them. Which it looks like, no, we did not. They decided to just, they're like, we're equals. Screw you, Bohemia. Screw you. But it's okay. We'll still be friends with them. I'm just gonna cancel some of these things, like my subsidies to them. There's no point in doing that anymore. Finally, Mazovia has been pushed out of the way here. All I have to do now is make it my capital, which where the heck is it? Is it like an event that just happens now? Probably. Let me see. Let me state it up. Oh, I just had to state it up, and now I can move my capital here. Now I can complete this. Oh, it has to be improved 6 times. Alright, so in order for me to complete that mission, I had to integrate Mazovia, state up Warsaw, and I have to improve it at least 3 more times. So let's go ahead and do that. And now I can complete this mission, get even more dev here and prestige. We can actually complete this mission really easily. I just have to ally the Pope or have their relations really high with me and have my religious unity really high. Let's go ahead and ally Mr. Pope Man. Oh, and it has to be 165. Okay. Yeah, we could influence Mr. Pope Man. Why not? Or take on his debt. And because we are completing this mission without religious ideas, we get missionary strength and yearly papal influence for the next 15 years. If we did do this with Catholic ideas or with religious ideas, we get missionary strength a little bit better and with a little bit more papal influence. Or if we did this by converting, yeah, we could have done this tolerance of true faith and power projection from insults. And right now we need to get that Renaissance thing. We could actually complete Copernicus. We can move on to some of these other missions down here. Alright, I'm thinking we launch a war against the Livonian Order. It's been a little bit since we did a war. We'll do that, full annex of Teutons, because I believe, or never mind, I do not have a claim. Why don't I have a claim here? But I mean, my boy Ducal Prussia does. So I mean, yeah, we can make it work. So I annexed Riga. I didn't realize I got the event where they just became part of the HRE, but yeah, screw you, Austria. And our ruler that we started out with is finally dead. We got a 265 and a Mecklenburg of all people. Sure, why not? Finally, we have embraced the Renaissance. We're not running a deficit. We're making at least 25 ducats a month. So now we can complete this mission. Copernicus is an advisor who's 75% cheaper. Plus, we also get additional idea costs and innovativeness gain until our ruler dies. And interestingly, we actually got faceting in our country, so that's cool. And also, Burgundy just went underneath somebody, or they decided to just stick it out. Okay, good for you, Burgundy. I didn't realize my current ruler was 70 years old, and they want my ruler to just die. That's okay, because we got a 366. I'll take that. So now comes our tier 3 government reform. I like expanded royal court, but in the case of this game and how we're playing it right now with so many subjects, we're going to go with representatives of the crown. When you guys had mentioned this government reform in my Timurids video, and looking more into it, it's like, you know what, this is actually a really good government reform. You get extra diplo relations, your vassals actually give you more troops. If you have tributary states, they give you an additional monarch power, and they also provide an additional tax for all your vassals. Otherwise, I typically like expanded royal court or centralized monarchical bureaucracy. Apparently, Lubeck wants to buy Danzig off of me, and I mean 250 ducats. No, I prefer Danzig to be in my hands, not yours. All right, let's attack the Ottomans for Constantinople. I'm sure once we actually form Commonwealth, then all of a sudden, yeah, we get the Unite Balkan CB. But it's going to be a little bit before we can even do that. Let's go ahead and just simply attack the Ottomans, take Constantinople, and that should just weaken them a lot. And while we're at it, we might as well take some of the cores for Bulgaria here at these 2 provinces. So far, the year's 1484. This is what our empire looks like right now. Obviously, if I was Commonwealth, things would be a little bit different because we would have access to a little bit more missions. I'm doing more of the economic stuff right now. Which, speaking of which, I could boost this up to 25 mercantilism, complete this mission. We get Polish merchant seal will be granted to our burghers, giving us merchant trade power and center of trade upgrade cost. Perfect. This one we need to have 14 workshops or counting house buildings and have 15% of the world grain market, or have the Polish crown ability, which is probably going to be the one that we actually do. Some of the other missions that we could do right now is like the revival of Krakow, embellish the Baltic port, which needs to be a level 3 center of trade, and have a workshop, which I'm already building here. Second idea group. We're going to go with espionage ideas. We're going to just keep stacking that CAF combat ability. Oh, I guess because my Yagellons weren't re-elected, my nobility gets this privilege. Okay. That sucked. I'm trying to lower their influence over my country right now. I can complete the embellish the Baltic port, just because I own Gdansk. I have at least a level 3 center of trade here, and it also has a marketplace and a workshop, so we get the Baltic gold and the Gates of King. We get an additional merchant, local trade power here to 50 and we also get base production and 100 prosperity growth in the state of West Prussia. I mean, that's pretty decent. Wish the merchant was more like a permanent thing, but it's okay. We actually have a fantastic great project over here in the Krakow Cloth Hall, which actually gives us additional goods produced in that area, along with additional merchants. When it's fully upgraded, we get an additional 2 merchants from that one province. So, and it's also a coal mine at some point. So yeah, we're going to kind of make this a little bit of a priority here, which I can actually already complete this mission because it has at least 10 production, 4 buildings, has a renaissance, and I improved it 10 times. We get the center of trade here increased by 1, get even more base production, and we get a trade depot here. So pretty nice. And again, that's like almost all the missions that we could do without forming a Commonwealth right now. Obviously I could do these, but I'm going to wait until I own Lithuania to do those. And this, I really need to figure out how the heck to get my nobility like influence down. Alright, finally I can remove a privilege away from these guys. Oh man. Everyone gives them the most influence we gotta get rid of. So originally I was going to hold off on this mission until we got Lithuania, but for the sake of just getting missions done, I devved up this whole area, devved up Kiev 5 times, and then built a temple here. Now we can complete this, get negotiations of Lublin, and we could do this, and we could actually form Commonwealth like right now at Admin Tech 8, or do this bottom one. I like the sound of this though. Let's maybe do this. Now we could get our new traditions and ambitions. And yeah, we are the Commonwealth. We're a pretty big boy. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth ideas, or PLC, ideas are different in Poland. We get max promoted cultures, our nobility is a little bit more loyal, tolerant to heretics, goods produced plus 10%, cheaper ideas, yearly army tradition, and army drill gain modifier. We get the same Wing Hussars idea. We get a guaranteed monthly admin power, 15% infantry combat ability as opposed to 10%, but we do lose out on that manpower one, and we get 5% discipline. And all of a sudden we've unlocked like the rest of our mission tree. Like we got this one cross on the wild side, which now allows us to get the Unite Balkan CB. Sounds lovely. And this one here pretty much requires us to be like the most dominant trade power in the Baltic, and we actually have to own Stockholm. Once we do that, we actually get a Restoration Union CB on Sweden. The Control the Baltic mission here requires us to be the dominant trade power in the Baltic, and depending on how we go diplomatically towards Sweden, we could actually get a Restoration Union CB on Sweden and get permanent claims on Scandinavia, or we just get permanent claims in Scandinavia. And because now we own some of the steppes provinces, like terrain-wise, we actually get access to the Cossacks. So obviously we're going to go with some of these here, like recruit Cossack leaders. We're going to do the established Cossack regiments. That's really about it for right now. It's time for us to go ahead and do a whole unifications of the Balkans kind of warpath. We're going to start out by attacking Serbia, go belligerent Bosnia, who apparently I have to insult really fast. Now I'm going to probably vassalize Serbia, more than likely, and then full annex Bosnia by giving over to Hungary. I'm gonna do something a little bit cheeky here. I'm just gonna do a white peace here. We're actually gonna break our alliance with Bohemia here because guess what? They're the same dynasty as us. And I'm gonna immediately claim that throne of theirs. I'm also kind of tempted to go ahead and do a truce break on them, but I'm not gonna do that. And Bohemia got their heir. Oh man. Oh well. We'll be back for them. Alright, I think it's time we start waging war on Great Bear to our north. Go ahead and invade Russia. I actually have to knock them below 100 dev and own at least 15 provinces, or I have to own at least 15 provinces over here, and then I get a permanent claim on the entire Russia region. So let's go ahead and start working on that mission right now. Here for government reform, we're just going to go with maintain balance of power. Alright, so I won my war against Muscovy. This is pretty much all I was able to muster over here, and at the cost of like all my manpower. I devved up the province of Riga, plus I own all the provinces over here. And now the estuary here apparently gets upgraded. We have even more trade power, and we also get papal influence and a bunch of permanent claims over here in Pomerania. Finally, after reaching 50% crown lands and my nobility having less than 4 privileges, I can complete this mission. We're going to get a bunch of rebellions right now, but we're going to get 100 governing capacity till the end of the game. We could also revoke estate privileges regardless of loyalty and influence. That's actually super nice. Now we just have to gain at least 10 admin per month, which, I mean, could hire any one of these dudes. And then we could complete this. Just need at least 10 seats in our parliament, 6 issues passed, 2 stability, and 10 admin. We get new parliamentary issues, and our rulers now are reformists. Now we can pretty much do this. We get a bunch of development in Hungary here. Obviously, I wish I had Bohemia, but we're going to try and make a play on Bohemia. I finally completed the mission Articles of Agreement, pretty much requiring us to have at least 3 government reforms, 13 admin or 13 diplo every month, or my ruler has +5 admin or diplo skill. We accepted either the Pacta Conventa or we opposed the Magnates, which I believe that's what we did. And then we also have 55% crownland, so now we can complete this mission. And now the clergy and burghers are going to lose some land. And if we oppose these guys, we're just going to get an additional guaranteed +1 monarch admin skill. Otherwise, we just get 100 monarch power and 25 power projection. And we are on to Golden Liberty, which pretty much requires us to be in the age of absolutism in order to complete this. Third idea group time, we're going to pick up admin ideas because I want that governing capacity, and plus admin just overall very good, especially with that court creation cost. And at some point I'm probably going to be picking up influence ideas so I can start integrating all these subjects. With both aristocratic or Polish ideas, our Cossacks also being pretty loyal, and also finishing up espionage ideas, we now have 70% cavalry combat ability, so our cavalry is going to hit like a freaking truck. And we're also going to be making use of our winged hussar cavalry regiments. Pretty much if a culture is accepted within your country, it allows you to have 1 unit per 100 development. And the winged hussars, they give additional cavalry shock, and they do more morale damage, but they reinforce a little bit slower. And instead of using money to actually build these units or train them, you actually use military points. But honestly, there's no reason not to use them, and if anything, you should really be culture converting a lot of this stuff. Alright, our truce with Muscovy is over. I'm going to go ahead and attack these guys. We got the manpower. They're currently in a war that seems extremely brutal against the Great Horde. Yeah, so obviously I got all my subjects. This should be a pretty easy war. We'll be able to stomp out Serbia and deal with Imereti and all those guys pretty easily. This allows me to carve straight into Russia, get the additional provinces I need, and we could finally complete the Break the Rus mission, which just simply required us to have at least 600 total dev, and either break down any Slavic nation below 100 development or own 15 provinces here in Russia. We could complete this, get some Streltsy, get permanent claims on the Russian region, along with permanent claim on South Karelia, Novgorod area, and Moscow area. And what I could do right now is actually become a Defender of the Faith, and I could complete this mission here, which just required us to own all the provinces in the Thracian area. Complete Cross on the Wild Side, Break the Rus, Defender of the Faith, and Byzantium does not exist, or it's my subject, and we get the Crown of Rome happen. We could either release out Byzantium as an independent state and vassal, release out the Latin Empire, or it belongs to us, which this is what we're going to go with. So I actually misread this. I needed to own the provinces of Newa, Novgorod, and Moscow in order for me to actually get a permanent claim on the Russian region, along with the 10 Streltsy. Instead, we get a bunch of manpower and permanent claims in South Karelia, Novgorod area, and Moscow area. Regardless, I'm going to conquer all of Russia, so just to clarify that. For Tier 5 government reform, we're going to go with Cossack Registry. This gives us even more special unit force limit, makes our Cossacks a little bit more loyal, and allows us to give them an additional privilege. Another day, another war against Russia. I see Austria is at war with Bohemia. I'm going to enforce peace on Austria because I refuse to allow Austria to become the big boy over here. That is a very wise choice, Mr. Pope. Yep, I will make a great Mr. Pope man. During the Age of Reformation, we do get a unique age ability, so I'm going to go ahead and take this, 33%. It's a pretty good amount of goods produced. It'll also allow us to complete another mission, the Breadbasket of Europe, where we just had to have at least 14 provinces with a workshop in grain provinces, and either have 15% of the grain market in the world or Polish crown ability, which, yeah, we're doing that. We'll get local tax, supply limit, and the price of grain goes up for the next 15 years. We have finally crossed over the 1,000 mark, so now we can proclaim ourselves as an empire, giving us even more gov cap, which is exactly what I needed. I've also completed balance of princely lands here because I'm allied to Bohemia. A lot of my provinces are either, a lot of these states and provinces are either owned by my subjects, my allies. I have at least 2 stability, at least 350 dev that I've grown by, 50% crownlands, and 90 legitimacy. In return, Prague actually gets a ton of development, same thing with Budapest, and until the death of my ruler, we get Liberty Desire subjects minus 15%, plus he gains plus 2 Diplo. And yes, I am still trying to PU Bohemia. Just kind of waiting to see if get their dynasty on my throne or get my dynasty on one of the two. One of them's got to give, man. For our Tier 6 government reform, we're going to go with the legislative Sejm, basically giving our local heir, so our Polish guy, extra +1 admin, Diplo, and nil. Alright, I'm going to start a pretty big war here. I'm going to go ahead and attack the Venetians because I want to finish conquering the rest of the Balkans. I have this Balkan unification CB, might as well use it. So attack them for this. They are allied to the French, but I think we'll be okay. We kind of outnumber them. Well, actually our numbers are pretty similar, but I think we'll be okay. I can finally complete dissemination of new ideas because I embrace the Counter-Reformation process enabled, and we get 50 papal influence, along with papal influence from Cardinal. And this printing movement one, we just have to embrace the printing press. Chelm needs to have at least 15 production dev with a manufacturer here, and we need to have at least 4 merchants. I have 3 right now, but as long as I upgrade the Krakow Cloth Hall, I could change that. Alright, I was actually able to win this war against the Venetians and the French. The French really weren't that big of an issue because we just straight up outnumbered these guys. And I'm going to pretty much be able to take all this Balkan regional stuff from the Venetians, and I just have to fight the Mamluks for the rest of the Balkan stuff. Which now I got the Holy War CB on them because I did call for Crusade on the Mamluks a little bit earlier, so let's go ahead and use that. First battle against the Mamluks, we outnumber them, and we technically have the advantage across the strait just because of our 1 boat here. The interesting, oh yeah, it's going to be a stack wipe here, even though they have more discipline. got like so much more morale than them. And that's just 60,000 Mammer Jammers just gone. Alright, finally I can kick Mamluks out of Balkans. Or I was looking at Russia and their truces, and I noticed the Yuan is actually in our game here. Because the Ottomans no longer exist, the Gurkhani, or the Timurids, and the Mamluks pretty much filled in that power vacuum. And the Gurkhani have a mission when they actually conquer a certain amount of provinces over here in Mongolia and China. They could actually make the Yuan into an incorporated vassal, which is really, really cool. It's one of the new horde mechanics that you could actually work with if you play as, like, say, Golden Horde, Yuan, or the Ilkhanate, and you could actually basically make a united Mongol Empire, but with all the different hordes. It's pretty cool. And here I go, actually kicking Russia out of the Russian region. Well, they're part of the Ural region, or Ural region. I own everything that they had out of the Russian stuff, so now I'm just on to Denmark, kicking them out of the Russian region. Finally, I can make peace with Denmark, take the rest of the Russian region, and also break their PU over Sweden. Perfect. Fourth idea group time, we're going to go ahead and pick up quality ideas to buff both our infantry and our cavalry. And also, of course, because it's a little bit more discipline. I can finally complete the Control the Baltic mission, which basically I need to have a marketplace in all my centers of trade. 65% or more trade power here. And this is the important one, embargoing Sweden. And the reason why you want to embargo them, because you get a restoration union CB against Sweden for the next 25 years, along with permanent claims on the entire Scandinavian region. Alternatively, you just get permanent claims on Scandinavia, or if you do this via alliance, you just get trade efficiency at dev cost for the next 20 years. We're going with that top option. As soon as my truce with these guys is up, we're going for it. So, Silesia was released out of my boy Bohemia here. And I'm over here just waiting for Bohemia's ruler to die so I can just claim their throne. Oh, hi, Finland. And the Protestants are victorious, and my boy Austria has officially been destroyed. Also, Savoy is on its way to become Italy all of a sudden. And Brunswick is now the emperor. Alright, our truce with Sweden's over. We're going to go ahead and do the Restoration Union ZB on these guys. And we're going to feed them all Scandinavia. Alright, I can force my union with Sweden. Nobody really cares. It's only 27 AE, which is amazing. But yeah, great. We got Sweden. Finally, I've completed the mission, develop the countryside. Stability needed to be at least 3. All the provinces that I own in the Polish region need to have unrest lower than 1, improved by at least 3 times development-wise, and no autonomy above 5%. Then we get local construction time, production efficiency, and prosperity growth in Poland for the next 25 years. And then this mission right here requires us pretty much to have 40 manufactories. At least 40% goods produced modifier, which luckily because of my age bonus, that's what we're getting. But it's going to end very, very soon. Let's kind of focus on that manufacturing thing. I devved up the province of Krakow to 40. We actually get a university here, plus the innovativeness. And pretty much now I have to have 35 universities. Alright, luckily I was able to complete the Invest in Eastern Poland mission before we move into the Age of Absolutism. What's really cool about this mission is all of our wool provinces now produce. What's really cool about this mission is any province that we have that produces wool will now produce cloth. Okay, so I got the disaster struggle for royal power. Only way for me to get rid of this is I have to get rid of the Great Sejm. Frickin' finally. We went with every event that basically, if you concede to your nobles, you basically, your government's going to be a lot weaker. We went with the harder option, just dealing with a ton of rebels. I mean, a ton of rebels. I would get events all the time. of giving me more rebels. But luckily doing this and going down that path gives me a new monarchy. I think just a regular monarchy at this point. But we get rid of the Golden Liberty thing that our nobility had. We get rid of the Pactamenta from our nobility as well too. We did lose 3 stability. Oh well. We are not going with the Great Hegemon anymore. We are just going with the autocracy. So I can actually reenact my parliament, but it disables my nobility estate. I'm honestly not opposed to that idea, especially because they own 20% of my crown land. So let's give it a try. Oh yeah, just give me 100% right there. This idea group time. We're just gonna go with influence ideas. Finally, I can complete the Golden Liberty mission, which requires us to complete the Struggle for Power disaster or eliminate the Golden Liberty privilege from our nobility. Absolutism of mine is at least 60, and I have 3 stability. And now we can enact the Polish autocratic monarchy tier 1 government, giving us additional manpower, admin efficiency, which is really nice. Maximum absolutism and reform progress growth. If we were not a monarchy, we get additional national unrest till the end of the game. Pretty much the next mission out of these would be the Governance Act. Requires us to complete all our government reforms and get the Enlightenment, which is coming up in about 50 years, and have 100 absolutism. Seats of power, I need to just make Malbork and Troki castles tier 3 in terms of their status. This one here, this one I completed actually. This one I need to have 35 university. From there, we're pretty much just on to Duchy of Pomerania, proclaim hegemony, and this mission here. And of course Imperial Commonwealth, which we could almost do. Need the development and also need all of our government reforms, and I also have to do this lifetime of war one, which I could have at least 150,000 troops. I just need to have 100 army professionalism. Alright, I'm also going to go ahead and start my golden era, just because I need to in order to complete a mission pretty much. It's actually this one all the way over here. I need to have my golden era, and I believe, yeah, this one also, where I need to get at least 15 admin a month, and my ruler's monarch points needs to add up to at least 14, or I could have them be a free thinker, a scholar, or complete innovative ideas. Just for the sake of completing that mission, I think I'm actually going to go with innovative ideas. All my rulers, their stats have sucked, and I have yet to get a scholar or a free thinker, so really this is probably going to be the best option. Plus this paired up with quality is going to give me even more infantry combat abilities. I'm going to have like 40 infantry combat ability between PLC ideas, quality, and the policy with quality innovative. Alright, we're going to do the Chairman Classic Dismantle the HRE in the most weirdest absurd fashion possible. First thing I have to do though is get Styria to break an alliance. So Mecklenburg's the Emperor. I have to co-belligerent Silesia. I also have to pay off this guy's debt just so he could be in this war. The co-belligerent Silesia. This Martian, so then that way I can get Stettin into here. Hold on. Okay, so I think I figured this out. So, I'm going to be at war with Mecklenburg, who is the Emperor. From there, I'm going to co-belligerent Silesia, who is allied to Munich here, who is also an elector. These two are electors. I'm also going to co-belligerent Galray, so I can co-belligerent Oldenburg. So I can get to Magdeburg, and then Saxony's also defender of the faith. So what I need to do is actually own all of their capitals here. This may be a bit of a tough war. We'll see. I just need to dismantle the HRE. It sounds way easier said than done. Oh wait, I'm missing somebody. I'm missing Stettin here. Alright, I had forgotten all about belligerent Dithmarschen over here so I could get the Stettin. That should be everybody. I'll even double check. Okay. Let's give it a try. We're going to attack them for Stolp. I'm not going to take anything out of this war. I mean, unless I'm able to just completely break them apart and just destroy everything, but we'll see. Oh, would you look at that? Mr. Gurkhani decided they were going to join this stupid war too. Okay. I just need to dismantle the HRE and get them to at least white peace. I just need to destroy the HRE and get them the white peace. I don't even need to worry about these guys. They can do whatever over here. I don't care. Frickin' finally, I just took everybody's capital and now I can dismantle the HRE. Oh, that's so good. Now I don't have to worry about any of this AE BS or anything like that. And now what I can do is also get a lot of these guys out of here. Oh, and even better, the Gurkhani just formed the Mughals. Oh my god, this keeps getting worse. Oh, wait. Apparently got Savoy under a EU and now I'm at war with Spain. I mean, okay. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. But what I can do is actually complete this mission thanks to my boy Savoy here with all the universities. Okay, so for pretty much the vast majority of the game, I've been trying to get Bohemia under a PU. This is just not happening, so I'm just going to have to resort to good old-fashioned just conquering them at this point. I'll probably end up just releasing them afterwards so I can actually get a lot of their cores back from like nations like Austria, etc. Well, would you look at that? My pal Burgundy actually ended up forming the Netherlands. That's pretty cool. And yeah, they are Habsburgs, and he dies, he ends up under a PU under me. So that's also very cool. Finally, for our final government reform, we're going to go with political absolutism for the additional admin efficiency and the maximum absolutism, even though we are already at like 120. But this should allow me to just, go ahead and actually subjugate Bohemia. Could also complete Imperial Commonwealth finally, which gives me cheaper court creation costs and a free policy for the next 25 years. Alright, I finally picked Denmark completely out of Scandinavia, and now we own all of mainland Scandinavia. I did also take Iceland as well as this island here. I really don't feel like fighting Britain for this island, so I'm not going to. Pretty much I'm on to trying to get all of Bohemia's cores back. Then we're going to integrate them. I got to conquer most of Mecklenburg in order to complete the Duchy of Pomerania mission here. And then from there, I'm pretty much just on to integrating my subjects. I don't really have much else to conquer, if anything at all at that point. Just comes down to economic things. Like this one, cultural flowering. Which actually, I just need 15 admin a month. Like this one where I just need the enlightenment. This one with the making the monuments really good. And this one, I am so close to getting this one done. Aside from that higher monthly income than any other nation with its capital in Europe. Plus I have to be a hegemon. Yeah. For two of these, I actually have to be a hegemon. Finally, I completed Lifetime of War by having 100 army professionalism. I have 160,000 troops. I have at least 8 wing and hussars, plus I have a ton of infantry. I have 40 infantry combat ability right now, and plus 25% discipline. So now we get expanding the quarter army happens. So we get modernized army till the end of the game with professionalism, army drill, and regiment drill loss. Basically makes our cavalry even more overpowered than they already are. Or there's also this own territory dice roll bonus, which is very nice. But we're going to go with the second option right here. So Denmark had a big colonial empire at one point. They actually had the United States, which, as you guys can see, broke free. They also had Canada, Finland, which, as you guys can see, broke free. But the Canadians decided to full annex Denmark. So they're over here, and they actually boarded my boy Sweden. Oh, I guess Denmark is still alive. Where? Oh, in the middle of the HRE. Okay. Well, Central Germany. Alright, time to go ahead and beat up on Austria. Get all of our cores back for Mr. Bohemia here. We'll just call it Netherlands. I'm not going to call it Styria because I feel like that. Oh no, I could actually call them and that won't be a problem. Alright, since I'm at a period of just chilling around, I don't have to go to war really with anybody except maybe Saxony when they pretty much full annex Mecklenburg here. I'm going to go ahead and start integrating some of my subjects like Bulgaria. It's only going to take me about 5 years to do. I just annexed Mecklenburg, beat up on Saxony, got those provinces in here, so now I can complete the Duchy of Pomerania mission, which that area is going to become Polish, get cheaper dev cost, and we're also going to gain some manpower in those provinces as well. Oh, I mean, sure, I'll take a PU, I guess. I was even married to this guy. I didn't even know they existed, but okay.
I finally embraced the Enlightenment, meaning some of my provinces now produce coal, which is an amazing late game good. When you build a furnace in these areas, it actually increases the total goods produced, I believe, in that one province or maybe in the area as well. I mean, like, if everything's all stacked up together with manufactories and all that stuff, you know, you could get a lot of money. In order to actually build a furnace here, these provinces need to be at least 20 developments. So let me go ahead and dev these up really quick. I'm gonna get the ticket a month. Yep. Coal. Don't know why this one's not coal just yet. Oh, the Enlightenment needs to be here. That's okay. But also why that's important is now I can complete the Governance Act. We're going to do this. Advances admin tech level by 1. Gives me possible advisors and monthly diplo power. Or this one here, every province with a courthouse or town hall gains random development and our ruler gets extra admin. We're going to go with this one. This one seems pretty cool actually. We are now in the age of revolutions, and as you guys can see, I've pretty much done everything here. I guess I own one of the institutions, but I'm surprised this discipline thing's not there. I'm at 120, that's why. But what institution do I own? Oh, the Enlightenment spawn. Well, that's in Venice. Yeah, I don't know. It's telling me I own the location of an institution of at least, oh, Savoy, with the Renaissance. Okay, that makes sense. So the furnace actually, so yes, it requires coal, but it gives you additional goods produced modifier plus 5%. And I don't know, again, if that's just for the state or if that's for that one province. The year is 1739. I've integrated Hungary and Bohemia. I'm also in the process of integrating Sweden. And I got my economy well over 1,000. And on top of that, I also have the highest income of any great power. So now I can declare myself an economic hegemon. So finally we could do this. And I could complete my last 2 missions. The first one being dominate the markets, which just requires us to complete these missions, become a hegemon, and have our golden era. And we get an additional golden age. Or it extends whichever one if we are in one. and every owned province with at least 40 development will be able to host a second manufacturing. And then the Proclaim Hegemony just requires us to complete Purple Phoenix, Prevent the Deluge, become a Hegemon, have at least 2,000 dev, and complete Lifetime of War, which is a mission all the way up here. Once you do that, you have 3 different variations. If you're an economic Hegemon, developing a province will have a 20% chance to gain an additional point of development, along with additional construction costs and dev costs for the next 25 years. Naval power stuff, you get global trade power, national sailors, ship trade power, Marines Force Summit, and your admirals or explorers gain an additional navy tradition, while the military one gives you, until the end of the game, artillery levels. Finally, the military hegemony gives you artillery levels available versus fort +2 and gov cap +15, which I think is the best one between the 3 of these. It's just the economic one was the easiest one for me to do. And like that, we've completed the entire Polish Commonwealth mission tree. Only thing that's left to do now is just integrate my subject to Sweden, and then we'll close out the game. And we have finally integrated Sweden and all of Scandinavia. That's a long Commonwealth. Honestly, if I saw this in a game like way earlier on, I'd be absolutely just mortified. But the fact that like a lot of our missions that we had to complete take us well into the late game just because of the Enlightenment and becoming a hegemon. I mean, unless you're going for like a world conquest or you're just absolutely just crushing it, like with every single nation around you, I mean, obviously you're going to become a hegemon a lot faster. And playing like this is a completely unique way of playing it with the mission tree. But integrating Sweden now puts us at 5,180 development. Our economy's still rocking, still booming. And our military can support about 563,000 troops. Obviously, if I state all that stuff up, it'll be even more. But that's where we're going to leave it for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, I hope you guys leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any more of my other content, such as more mission tree only, or any of the other videos that I've been putting out as of late. Next time we are going to be covering the nation of the Mamluks, and until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Chairman out.